When I realized that we were in trouble was literally within the first 5 minutes of the hike.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
I'm ready. Hit me with some questions.
My name is Paul Licari, also known as Pestily.
My name is Michael.
I'm Sterling, where a lot of people call me Decky.
My name is Jared.
So a fear of mine is to pretty much be on my deathbed or getting older to the point where I can't really be as capable of doing things, and then looking back and feeling like I didn't actually experience life.
Dying alone,
Spiders,
heights,
dangerous things.
spiders,
Heights.
a lot of food.
Biggest fear would probably be leaving my kids fatherless or having kids and not having a relationship with them.
Just living a boring life and not living up to my potential.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
On my way to Indonesia.
We've been waiting for Sturdecky here. He landed an hour ago, and
It's ridiculous.
this is ridiculous. And Paul is hungry.
I'm hungry. I'm starving.
We've only been for a swim, had a chance to cool down, and now we're hungry. We've also
We haven't had a beer.
we haven't had a beer, and the living conditions. Decky, stop making it about you.
I got off the plane, I spent like 2 hours trying to get through customs, and by the time I got out, there were just 3 dudes that looked extraordinarily tired.
Look at it.
Yeah, I've waited a long time.
A little bit tired. That was 28 hours of actual in-flight time.
Decky, when he rocked up, he did not seem what I imagined him to be. He was very quiet, and I was like, he's either going to murder someone. Yeah, he seemed off.
Well, one of us is gonna die on this journey.
I made it to Indonesia.
He made it to Indonesia. You look like death.
I feel like death.
Stop picking on Decky.
My first impressions of both those two guys, for Jared, it was exactly what I thought it was. Well-presented man who's physically fit, good looking,
More handsome than I had anticipated.
keen to take on the world.
Sex sells.
He slotted in very well with humor, with personability. The thing that I thought that Jared was going to struggle the most was clicking with the weirdness of me.
Should we kiss?
And I think I came off pretty strong onto Jared. That sounded sexual.
My first impression of Michael,
We got a Canadian. We got a Canadian. Look at it. Look at this. You can't get prime rib like this unless you're in Canada.
his personality is like getting hit in the face with a fire hose.
Mike was much more emotional and cries more often than I had anticipated.
It's emotional, it's stupid. I didn't enjoy it. I don't like it. I don't want to talk about it.
Obviously, I've known Michael a little bit longer, him being my neighbor. He seems like this really outgoing, outlandish dude, but then all of a sudden he's a bigger scaredy cat and it's kind of enjoyable to watch.
I think he enjoys watching us in pain.
My first impression of Paul was he's very serious. He's really good at planning, work out the details, make sure things get done.
Man, Pestily is much shorter than I imagined.
He's a very good friend. I'm not going to tell him that to his face.
Right here, Michael.
Fuck off, you cunt. And he knows how to inspire you the right way.
Where's the painkillers? Is it on with
I have no idea where the painkillers are, Paul.
If you want the bench.
This is what I mean. I'm Paul's literal work wife. I'm trying to record my own fucking thing here and he's coming, Michael, I can't find painkillers. I don't know where the painkillers are. Sort your own life out.
He is a stout little man.
Decky is an extremely genuine guy and he doesn't fake anything. His reactions are as genuine as it comes.
Extravagant, always loud, very American with the loudness. I reckon if he was just to say hello to someone, 3 other people from the area would think they're talking to him, but that's good.
He doesn't eat anything. Like literally, like you put one of the most delicious meals in front of you, like anything, like a delicious burger with sauce and cheese and everything like that, he won't touch it. He doesn't like cheese, he doesn't like sauce, he doesn't like tomato, he doesn't like flavor. That's Decky in a nutshell. He was very concerning to me. Did you talk about the whirlpool? The whirlpool is a secret society that's been created, and I think this is where we actually bonded. But we started one in the pool in our villa, and we thought it would last for like, 30 seconds. But I tell you what, I've been through some religions. This is more inviting and more dangerous because once you're in, you can't get out of it.
Jared, I feel like there's a big gap between us.
And what if we all put our hands out?
What? We can't even see Paul. Yeah.
What if we all went down and back up? You ready?
Oh. I can't go down any further. Michael, that's the worst shit.
Everyone has their white whale, their Moby Dick. And I didn't realize I had one of those until I discovered that we were going to climb Mount Agung, which was the volcano bonding trip that Paul had organized for us.
My whole idea and thought process of making us do this volcano hike and climb was purely to make it that I put everyone outside of their comfort zone in an area they've never been to and push them a little bit past what they think is their normal limits.
Smells good.
Status update, Facebook. Whatever you say. Decky's dressed for a heist. Paul, how you feeling?
I'm good. I'm excited.
You're excited? Very excited.
Decky was putting on that many clothes.
Long johns, I had mountaineering pants, I had on my boots, a short sleeve shirt, I had on a long sleeve shirt, I had on a sweater, and then on top of that I had on a jacket, and then on top of that I had on a poncho.
He turned out looking like Quasimodo, had this massive hunchback, and that made me feel very happy.
Decky, when will you ring the bells of Notre Dame?
Now, during the climb, it was a very scary start. I think everyone was probably pretty scared about how difficult it was getting. It was very hot.
The first bit of the climb was probably 5 or 6 flights of stairs directly up to the temple.
And all of us as a group, and you can automatically tell that we are all like, oh, we've made a mistake. None of us are in shape for this. And we're on the steps, not the mountain.
When I realized that we were in trouble was literally within the first 5 minutes of the hike.
That wasn't even 1% of the climb.
We made it. We don't think it's a bad idea now?
We've done how many minutes?
We've walked 5 minutes.
We've walked 5 minutes.
60
We've walked 5 minutes and it's one of the hardest workouts I've ever done in my life. How you feeling?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm ready.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the weather's beautiful.
I'm feeling so many things.
I'm top of my game.
Top of your game?
I thought, okay, it can't be that bad. We went on a slighter, less incline.
And then we walked through the jungle for 2 hours.
But then I didn't realize how hot the jungle would be. And apparently that's the most humid thing since they created the sauna.
And this guide was just hoofing it. He was moving. I don't know if he wanted to just go home to his family or if he was all like, how fast can these guys go? But the dude was pushing it. I was sweating. Every little part of my body was covered in sweat.
Our guide was going they're running as if the whips of their very masters are behind them. There's a line from Lord of the Rings.
I was keeping up, but I was hoping he was going to slow down. Bear in mind, this was a 60-year-old man who was smoking cigarettes every 10 minutes.
And eventually we stopped for a break. All of us just like, oh God, what have we gotten ourselves into? Just because the jungle's even more humid. And at that point I shed all my layers, just go down to my t-shirt. And I was like, oh, I can actually breathe. This is okay. Everything's all right. Michael still didn't quite feel the same way.
Yeah, it was not a good time for me. I was really struggling, and honestly, I thought I was going to faint.
Quick pit stop. How are we feeling, guys? No.
So yeah, I went very internalized. I don't like to talk when I'm going through physical or mental battles.
All right, Michael's starting to lose his sense of humor. That's not a good start.
If I'm not talking,
and
I'm
Pest?
doing well.
When Michael's not talking, he's very internalized. And if anyone knows Michael, he's never internalized. So,
I've known him for 2 days and he hasn't been internalized yet.
Yeah, this already seems a little bit off.
are you gonna be right, mate?
I offered to take his bag.
Jared switched out and took the heavy bag, even though I was like, oh, I'll be fine, bro.
Because he was carrying all the heavy camera gear. I switched him out with my bag that just had a couple water bottles in it.
Eventually though, the guys were great. They let me go forward. Whatever it is, let the lame person go first to set the pace.
Our intrepid adventurers climb higher. Michael trudging forward, Pest bringing up the rear. We're still in the jungle area, but we're moving into more rocky terrain as we get up to out of the trees.
We get up there, and once we got out of the jungle and more to the actual rock and gravel and the steeper portion of it, it was a lot more doable despite it being a lot steeper. I think even Michael started feeling better there. Yeah, the jungle really just suffocated you and was so hot.
Starting to feel much better now. That's all I'm gonna say.
You look much better.
Much better. He power chucked in his mouth before.
Yeah, it was because I had like half a packet of Mentos just as we started. And a big gulp of water. And I was like, oh, those flavors are kind of flowing around right now in my gut. And I went, what? I swallowed it back down.
So we do that, and it's pitch black because it's like 3-4 a.m. We're going up the side of this volcano, and once you get up there, you start scrambling. It's not just like hiking. We had sticks. It's not just hiking, but you're like scrambling. You're on, well, for me, almost the entire time I was on all fours. I was like Gollum crawling through the rocks of Mount Doom.
I've turned into Gollum. I've been walking on my hands and knees for the last hour. My true form.
In my head, we were like on this, like, it was steep, and well, it was actually steep, but if I made one wrong step, I was gonna fall all the way down to the bottom.
It's a massive cliff. Doesn't look too scary because I can't see the bottom, but I'm sure on the way back, we'll be able to see. It was pretty terrifying because you're walking up in the dark and you don't know anything that's more than a meter around you.
The elements have turned against us. We'll just see how heavy it gets.
By the time we got up there, we were beat. Like, it was a strenuous test.
We did. Success.
Yeah. How we do?
Success. We have reached the climax.
We are now on the rim.
We have summited.
I just came.
Michael might have shot himself, but still.
About 90% sure I shot myself.
Oh my God.
Into that vast darkness is
the volcano. We are now here at the peak at, I think it's 5:31 a.m. And it's actually, we started at 1 a.m. So good little trek, Michael. He's going in the hurt locker. This is probably the first time he's ever exerted himself like this, in this way.
Honestly, this is the most physical thing I've ever done in my life, and I'm just, fuck, I can't believe I did it.
just a massive wave of euphoria rush over the whole team. Michael was tearing up right away, thinking about his kids, thinking about his accomplishment, thinking about pushing his limits and doing something he didn't think he could do. Because I could tell at the beginning of the climb, he was definitely questioning whether he was going to make this.
Getting to the top of the mountain was a great achievement. And as the guys know, I get emotional. I'm half Italian, I can't help it. Ever since I've had kids, it gets worse.
My kids! It's so beautiful!
I think like the common man, you know? Like most dads out there who have kind of given up on their dreams once you have kids, it's a real rewarding experience to achieve these type of things. So being at the top of that summit was amazing.
Mountain number 1 done.
All right, guys, it is our first ever summit as a group, and there will be many more to come.
We did it!
The summit was amazing. The view was incredible. Our first summit with the team, our first big challenge. It was cool to experience someone else's first time doing something.
That sounded sexual.
And then, yeah, we began our descent, and I was like, oh my God, no. And then it was super easy.
We're on our way down. I've been freaking out about it at the top with my fear of heights and being able to actually see how high we were, but it's actually been not too bad at all. We're about to get into the actual trees and jungle area.
Hey, we're doing a great job. Just want to encourage everyone, you're doing a great job. Fantastic. Ever since you had that banana thing, you've gone like full wild.
Hey, Blake.
The mist. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Chickens. we conquered Mount Agung.
Now, after the volcano, obviously, I wanted to make sure I could keep these guys in high spirits because obviously they're just going through something really traumatic.
No.
So the next day I was like, hey, let's go have some fun at a water park.
It's time to go to a water park.
Water park. Hey, water park.
Water park. We're gonna get wet. Where are we?
Water bong Bali?
What a bong bomb. What a bomb.
Water bomb.
I don't like heights. I don't like being wet. And water slides are both.
Holy fuck!
The whole time he was swearing and I was like, oh my God, there's like children everywhere.
That was horrifying, but it was manageable.
I didn't realize how terrified he was when it was about the third slide when we really discovered that he was genuinely screaming. And I know this because I was on that slide with him when we were going through, and literally the whole water park knew who he was. What concerned me the most is we went to our final slide and he went down. He didn't make a noise. I thought we'd killed him. I thought it was just a dead body just sliding down the slide. But
it was the one time that entire park that I didn't scream. And I had this horrible pain in my stomach. I got out and like Michael came down afterwards and he's like,
oh, you're all right? And he's just like,
don't. That definitely like crossed my limit line.
And yeah, I think we broke him that day.
It's not really a concern of mine because if he's in the right mindset, I think he's this kind of person who will push through. And I'm sure by the end of this year, it's going to be a different Decky to the start of this year.
We just finished our first surfing lesson. Oh my gosh, we weren't allowed to take cameras. So here's some proof that we actually did it. We have finished our stay in Bali and now we're going to a place called Jogja. Jogja? Jogja? Really? Jogja?
What's up, gamers? We're doing a volcano Jeep tour. This is our sick ride. And now we're gonna go on an adventure.
I've been waiting for this for a long time.
I can't stop laughing.
Now, whilst we're at Prambanan, which is a very big Hindu temple in Indonesia.
It's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. It's insane. Look at the buildings, like, look at them. I can't even build Lego that good. 100% aliens.
There's a lot of school kids there, a lot of people studying, and they're trying to practice their English. Now, one of them came up, wanted to talk to me, and I said to him, I just need you to know, don't make a big deal out of it, but have you seen Harry Potter? And the girl's like, yes, I've seen Harry Potter. I'm like, that over there, that's Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. So she like screamed over to her friend, and I said, don't make a big deal. Screams at her friend, Harry Potter, and like full on sprints over.
And I'm like, why the hell are they running over to Decky? And he comes over and tells me, like, I just told them that was Harry Potter. And I'm like, oh my God.
What do you think, Decky?
Makes me feel like I'm actually famous or something. I don't know.
That's because Paul keeps telling everybody that you're Daniel Radcliffe.
I think we have a very strong team dynamic.
From the start to the finish of this trip was polar opposite. Like, you know, it was kind of rigid and I wouldn't say cold, but like it was a little bit awkward.
By the end of it, we were loving it.
I was actually shocked by how well it worked. I feel like, yeah, we are a team at this point.
So that is the end of our 12 days of tripping. And that was just our practice trip. Practice trip for what?
Europe.
What's happening in Europe?
I don't know.
Yeah, we need to talk. So, how can you support us? Paul.
Michael.
Paul, do you not remember how you can support us?
It's really awkward now.
Why is it awkward? Because you have to pee. You can support us with what, Decky?
Patreon.
What do you see on Patreon?
All the stuff that couldn't fit in this video will be inside the Patreon.
Thank you to everyone that made this trip possible, that made it extra special and made it extra fun.
Yes.
Do you know how to clap before death?